Good evening, everybody. Oh, well, there it goes. A nice little delay to everything. Hey, the little nipple showed for a bit, and hey, it was quiet. So, welcome, everybody. Dadman Walking 55 here. Yeah, I learned what that term is for that little thingy thing, and I cannot forget it. But hey, we're at 2 minutes after 8 on the east coast of the great United States of America. Welcome in for another week of college football. The tweets have gone out. The discords have gone out. And we only have 2 other weeks after this week in the college football regular season. Amazing how time flies, you know. We got a very interesting guest tonight. More of an NFL type guy, but it's going to be blast. He knows his football, and he's really worked hard and researched for this show. So, well, it's going to be exciting tonight. But let me say a few thank yous. We're still holding at 507 on the subscribes on YouTube. Thank you all, each and every one. Make sure you've hit that bell. Like tonight, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit that bell for the notifications. And, be here every time we do. And also follow us on Dadman Walking 55 on Twitter to be the backup. I've heard numerous times that it was the tweet that got people, not the notification. Also, we crossed the 100 line on the Twitch side of all things. We are now at 102 on the Twitch side. So it is really, really an interesting thing tonight to see. And I see people keep popping up in the chat. So we're going to get to you great people that are in the chat. Hey, bring your football questions. Let's talk some serious football tonight. If you got questions about how the game's played, if you got strategy questions, if whatever it is, let's talk some football. And we like dealing with questions here. We're not afraid. We'll do the best we can. If we foul up, well, we'll foul up together. And sometimes we'll have to say, we'll get back to you on it. That's what a good auditor does. A good auditor says, I don't know the answer, but I'll come back. I'll get you the answer later. So, but it's not a BS answer. And it's not a stall tactic. It's being honest and give yourself time. That's what you do. You stall for time. But hey, without that, let's go and introduce our wonderful guest tonight. He's, I'm a good old Southern boy here. So we got the furthest thing from that with this guest tonight. This guy is from the great North. You can say what you got to say about the state of it, but you know what? He embodies class and, a hard worker. He knows his shit and he's passionate about everything. And see, I even cuss right there. So, but he's passionate about his stuff. He loves his stuff, and it's great to have this guy on. Had him once on a Sunday afternoon with a Sports Weekly where we talked some college football and NFL scores before he had to go to his flagship program of Saving Star Trek. Well, folks, like I love to fight for the old guard of Star Wars, this guy fights for the old guard of Star Trek, but he also might surprise you a few times. It is the one, the great. He's not a captain like our James T. Kirk, but he's Admiral Teague. Admiral Teague, how are you tonight?
Hello. They say that victory has 1,000 fathers and defeat is an orphan. Hopefully this stream will have 1,000 fathers. Hit those like and follows for my pal Dadman.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
Enjoyable assignment. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed watching college football. It's very, very relaxing, especially the game I watched where no one scored until the last 2 minutes of the game. I was able to tweet heavily while doing the game, ordered a pizza. It was great.
What game was that?
I think it was Auburn. No, wait. You know what? Honestly, it was the game where the guys in the suits did the thing with the ball. Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
It was that one. Iowa? It was
Iowa. Oh dear God! Never watch Iowa. No! Please, never watch Iowa. Yolanda Phillips, I'm jumping the chat because I saw there's a game about to come on. Hey, Yolanda, good to see you here tonight. We're going to get to all the chat in a second, but I wanted to jump in because some people with Thursday Night Football may be piling out. But oh my gosh, you really watched an flipping Iowa football game?
It was really, really kind of interesting at the end, but yeah, it was like just like no one could get within field goal range, mostly played at midfield. Not very exciting. Neither coach impressed me. No one really had the kind of breakaway power to do anything in the game. It's so strange, like the sports are so different on the college level. For instance, just to make an analogy, the NBA, like one superstar and 4 average guys, you'll win a championship.
Yeah.
But in college, 5 slightly above average players beats 2 great players.
Oh my God!
It
was the Iowa.
Most.
You're talking the Iowa Northwestern game.
Yeah, what was the score in that one?
10-7.
Yeah, there we go.
The quarterback threw for 65 and 81 yards.
It's a barn burner, bro.
They didn't score. Iowa scored with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Northwestern scored with 1:50 left in the game to tie it up. Then Iowa kicked a field goal to win with 14 seconds.
I told you the last 2 minutes were great.
Please never watch Big Ten football. My JT Kirk doesn't like that opinion, but don't go. That's why I'm an SEC snob. We do it right in the Southeastern Conference. Iowa, oh my gosh, they actually lost to a Division II school a couple years ago, which is like it'd be like pro team losing to a college team. They lost to them and then they beat another one like 7-4, or it was like a baseball score. It just was stupid. But if I was involved, never watch them.
You know what? God. I'm going to tell my nephew not to go there for college because I'm pretty sure he's NFL bound with that leg. I saw him kick at the homecoming game a couple of weeks ago, and Rico's got a future. Uncle Teague's going to need some money one day. You get that NFL contract.
Well, I don't know. If you can get a starting job in the kicker in the Big Ten, you might be better off because they'd like to kick a lot of field goals and stuff. They don't like going
power and accuracy this kid had in his leg for a high school kid was something.
Wow. We'll talk about some of that as we get into the show. How about that? If you're proud uncle, we'll do that. Because we're going to talk about some of our memories and stuff like that with football and things we've done. But let's go ahead and greet the chat that we've got here. There's already had a number of people. Studying a Brave Megatron is here first.
Hello.
Good to see him tonight. And good to see the lovely, gorgeous, beautiful Mrs. Dadman walking. Hello. And like I said, welcome. Let's enjoy talking college football and focusing on our football adventures tonight. So we got our guest, Admiral Teague, here with us. Buddy Hepburn. Hey, Buddy, our West Coast spy out there. He keeps an eye on the West Coast.
That's an awesome avatar. I love that avatar.
Which one is that?
Jolt Cola. I don't know. It's like, it looks like perhaps maybe it's a Family Guy character, but like they just drank like 2 Jolt Colas or like 5 Red Bulls.
Looks like a Rick and Morty type to me, but hey.
It could be from Rick and Morty.
Yeah. We got the wonderful, incredible Daisy Blossom over here on our Twitch side. Thank you, Daisy. Stunning's pre-ordered his Lego T-Rex skull. Okay, cool. And Yolanda Phillips, who we always said, who's going to be watching some football, but hey, hopefully she can come back and chat. Hey, thank you for being here, every one of y'all. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're still subscribed here. So, and like Daisy says, 102, yeah. All right, show that love. We like it. We all appreciate it. And Rosalind Hart's here. Hi, Rosalind Hart. Good to see you tonight. All right,
hello.
So
I guess the first thing I should say is, so we don't get in trouble, right? Oh, bet with your head, not over it. No,
we don't. Like we actually go a different direction. We go no betting.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You know what? Yeah,
I tell people probably, that hey, I tell people that I'm so, I do stuff for the joy and the fun of it. But if you try to use me for your gambling needs, you pick the wrong guy. I'm the world's worst gambler. I went to Las Vegas and I was too cheap. My dad paid for his vacation. So, Masters Maniac Mexico. Hey, Hamburg won. He talks about the world football. The goodness of the universe. Good to see you.
Are we talking about like soccer?
Soccer, yes.
Okay.
That one. But hey, World Football Force.
R.I.P. Paul the Octopus. We'll never know ahead of time who's going to win a game.
All right, Killer Rabbits, Feet Ball, greeting humans to everybody.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. Nice
to see some people from the different chats here.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is nice. Thanks for coming down. We're going to try to not only talk about football, but entertain you as best we can and try to earn that life that you should give Dad, man.
Thank you. Castle, driving every day is all the gambling you need in your life. I understand that, sir. You are definitely correct about that. So, all right.
I live in New York. I've seen some things with cars. Yeah.
My brother-in-law drove through New York. My wife said he did really, really good, but I won't go north because I can't handle that traffic. I drove south of I-4 down towards Miami once and a few years ago.
That's much more frightening. That the interstate down the coast. Whoa! I did that in snow once. That was a real risk. That was the closest I came to for about 6 or 7 hours there, risking my life. Woo.
Yeah. No, Castle, you don't have to be responsible. Be bad. I'm just kidding. Hey, good luck with your schoolwork. Yeah, Castle's a good mod and a good friend of our channel. He's only got one class left to finish for his degree. So, but hey.
I have Nathan Fillion shows I prefer to Castle, but Castle is a good show.
Okay. Hey, your Muslim uncle's here. Hey,
your Muslim uncle, what a pleasure to see you, sir.
Exactly. It's good to see him. I've been seeing him a lot more lately, and greetings to you, and glad to see you with us tonight, talking about the world football. Your Muslim uncle usually asks a lot of times, "Will I ever do hockey?" And I'm like, I would love to, but I would definitely need help to do hockey because I'm really such a just somebody that's only watching on TV. Yeah.
No, you're deceptively fooled by the fact that you think that the players stay with the same team. Everyone gets traded right after the Super Bowl when the real hockey season starts. Everything up to them they treat like more or less of a scrimmage. But then right about, say, February, when the playoffs start shaping up, they start playing really hard. And those teams after the trade deadline are the only thing you really need to know. So mid-season hockey, unfortunately, they did it to themselves. It's a very playoff-driven sport, but something like 18 of 32 teams make the playoffs.
Yep. Well, but Daisy Blossom is over on the Twitch side and saying hello to everyone on the YouTube side. So hello, welcome.
Hello,
and
Twitch.
You know what? Stunning used to play hockey, but he said he stopped following it years ago. And then CFL. Hey, the finals are Saturday. Winnipeg gets play BC. So hey.
Yes.
I tell you, I do like Canadian football, though.
Really? I find the 110-yard field differential embodies the socialist approach to government.
No, I think it makes it more action.
Minimizes achievement.
No, I think it's more. I got you. But I actually like it. I think in some ways it's better than American football. The wider field, 3 downs.
The
thing where you take a knee in the end zone, with giving up a point. I mean, I like that. Different scoring things. They embrace you to kick the ball. Not like the NFL was like, we can't, or we got to go for it. But Stunning says he's bad about being a Canadian. So.
You know what? I'm half Cuban. Would that mean that I should lead Canada? Because I believe that that's what they like, right?
I don't know. Everything's up to you, whoever, and whatever you want to do, what makes you happy. Or as my dad used to say, whatever blows your skirt up. So.
Oh no, they say Justin Trudeau is Castro's son. That's the joke there.
See that I'm the last person to ever know anything about what's going on. So that's kind of what happens.
I've only found these things out in the last few weeks from my friend Comic Relief Crusader. He makes me look at newspapers. Things. Yes. Yeah, and the media.
Yeah. And he actually helped the missus come up with a name for her morning show, the musings that she's doing. So,
I'm going to drop his link in the private chat so that you can put it out there if you want.
Okay,
I'll give him his quick commercial.
Exactly. I tell you,
nicer, better gentleman.
Exactly, he is. He actually helped us with getting the missus title. I mean, he just threw it out there, and she fell in love with it the first moment he said it. So it's definitely a good thing and definitely a good guy. All right, so Teague.
He's the only person I'll look at the news for.
There you go. Well, hey, I feel honored you looked at college football and spent time in college football this weekend and actually sat through a dadgum Big Ten game from Hades.
That game wasn't that boring.
Really?
There's just no score. I saw some good, hard tackling. I mean, if basic fundamentals of the game, these kids could tackle and stuff. It's just that the game was like maybe their coaches were terrible, or these were not the most talented teams. Like, I don't know. Perhaps you don't go to the Big Ten for football, and this was just the best they could do. Honestly, my school, no.
Now we'll talk about your school in a little bit. Yeah,
don't even think we have athletic scholarships. So these things figure it.
Well, there are levels of college football where it's non-scholarship, the smaller divisions, and they take it seriously because if they find you giving extra money to the players to get there, it can get a school in trouble because they say if they're non-scholarship, you or non-scholarship. So, but
Well,
we got 10
guys from
people
my
hanging
school
out with
now
us.
in the NFL.
We
Hey,
got 10
welcome.
people hanging out with us. We got 1 on the Twitch side, and we got 9 here on the YouTube side. So make sure you follow us on Twitch. We're across the 100 mark, and make sure you are still subscribed and you still have notifications, because YouTube does do crazier things. But hey, tonight we come in with 507. But beyond all that, we got the great, not a captain, we got an admiral with us. So Teague, tell us about just in general a little bit about yourself and what do you do. And you can talk about your channel a little bit. I mean, I'll let you plug yourself at the end, but I mean, just talk about you, what makes you tick, kind of, and how, you know.
My life story was most interesting before I really knew what was going on. I'm the son of a Vietnam veteran who saw to it I was looked after and put me up to for adoption. I was raised by a New York City detective, NYPD. I am a New York City resident all my life. I've lived in Queens. I love Queens. I like the Yankees, but I go to plenty of Met games, and I've got plenty of pictures of me with Mr. Met. There's nothing like a day. You know what? For 1/4 the price of the Yankees, what I like to say is New Yorkers like baseball so much we have a team and the Mets.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, that's too funny.
Yeah, I'm a Cuban, American, Irish, Italian guy. New York is my home. I love it. I love. I can get better pizza than you. You might have everything better than me. Wherever you are in life, you may make more money. Some of you may be more accomplished. Some of you may have succeeded in your relationships, but I can get better pizza and bagels. So I've learned to take my wins where I can. So. Yeah, and I went to Stony Brook University, State University of New York.
All right,
go see Wolves.
Sea Wolves. Actually, they've come up on our on our channel once before because we were doing mascots and stuff, and that was one of the ones. Exactly.
Wolfie is awesome. It's
Wolfie.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, dude, there were some really scary ones. So, hey, we got another one at 508. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you.
Whatever to whoever. See, that's one thing. I guess I got to do stream elements or something. I don't always. YouTube doesn't always tell me who, because I don't know. It depends on your settings. So
here's the thing. I realized when it happened around 175, this started happening to me. At around 200 subscribers, I hate the term subscriber. I really do, because it means that you're subjugated. It's like, I wish they called them guests, like channel members.
Twitch calls them followers.
Which is
a little bit better.
Worse.
You think so?
I don't know about that. You're not my subject. You're not my follower. You're allowing us to be a guest via your device, and we couldn't be more honored. So, I mean, I think that they should come up with some more befitting things to address our audience. You know what? That's what I'll call it. Our audience.
Our audience. Absolutely. So, and Killer Rabbit, good old New York pizza, Subway rats can't be wrong.
That was one of the most hilarious things that I see on a weekly basis. Yeah, like I was in no way surprised. You want to see something crazy? Google pigeon rat.
Oh boy.
Now that's dark.
All right. Be careful, folks, when you do that. Who knows what you're going to see.
You'll be harkening back for the wholesome, beautiful days of Pizza Rat when that was the worst thing you ever saw. Oh Pigeon Rat's so much worse.
Yeah, I bet. Well, let me ask you this.
New York City, the pigeons get jacked by the rats.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. It's a war. That's kind of cool. Put the pigeons.
Control the pigeons and the city controls the rats. So
because my wife's described the pigeons as rats with wings. So
she's right.
Yeah. Even battle. So, and people insist on feeding them.
This town's in tatters. We got rats on the west side, bed bugs uptown. Look at me. I'm shattered. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, let me ask you about Stony Brook. I mean, you said is it part of the State University of New York?
It's the flagship.
It's the flagship. Because I mean, I've heard of SUNY. That's I guess.
So that is here's the deal. SUNY, as we pronounce it, right? So we say SUNY. SUNY, State University of New York, has like 300 campuses. It's like Penn State, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can go, and as I did, to like a SUNY junior college and then transfer if you want to like one of the other schools. And I didn't want to go to like a SUNY college like Oneonta or something like that. I wanted the most prestigious possible degree, and I wanted to stay near New York City because I am an absolute xenophobe. Like, you know that illustration for the Manhattan New Yorker's view of the world?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that is like that person has. Oh, it's like you see like all of Manhattan in great detail, and it just says Hudson River, and then everything else is like everywhere else. Yeah, it's like the next thing you see is like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Gotcha. Well, let me say hello to Sci-Fi Mombi real quick. I think the first time I've seen you over here. Maybe you've been passed before, but hey, welcome. Good to have you with us.
She is on Saving Star Trek a lot.
Oh, wow. Good. Awesome.
And she's an Orville lore expert who does her own show. She knows the Orville, and she's really cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think I've been on a panel once or twice with her briefly, but hey, good to see you. Sit back, relax. We got the great Admiral Teague with us. So yeah, you were talking about it's called SUNY. So Stony Brook is part of the university system of the state of New York, right? And how many universities do they have?
The top two. They have two. Stony Brook is medical and everything else because the universities have every discipline, right? So Stony Brook is medical and everything else. There's a like really good hospital there. Stony Brook University Hospital is where I would be taken if I ever have a problem that I can walk far enough away from. It's about 60 miles from New York City, but so we train doctors, and we also have the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. We have a physics school. I had to go to class at 3 a.m. so I could sit in a telescope in an observatory and watch the moon. I looked at Tranquility Base and I looked at Saturn. Saturn is there, and also, I'm sure the Earth is round, but the moon, that thing might be flat, Dadman.
So, what was your major? Sure. What did you major in? What was your degree in?
I have a degree in history.
Oh, okay, cool. My kid has got one in history and Spanish. Undergrad is now going to doctorate school in history. So, really interesting.
The city of New York pays teachers very well. Something I might know a thing or two about.
No, hey, there you go. As long as you can enjoy living in the big city, that would seem to be a requirement, though.
You know what's the most enjoyable thing about the big city?
What's that?
It's a bunch of connected small towns.
Well, that makes sense.
This is my town. I know the people here in Astoria. I know everyone. I know where to get the good pizza. I know all my neighbors. I've lived in the same place for over 10 years. This is my place. I love my city, and what can I say? It's a lot of people think that they want to make me the complaint department for the city of New York. I'm one man with one vote who just happens to like the place that he lives in. That's all there is to it.
Cool.
Please call the New York City government and get your anger out with them. But Buff State, the other state university, they have the law school. So I think I would believe that the Buff State team is called the Bulls, because there's a lot of BS being taught up there. I believe I got a BA from Stony Brook, but I believe they give you a BS from Buff State, which is not quite as good of a school as Stony Brook.
I always call it BS degree.
Well, you know what? I made sure that my lawyer went to Stony Brook.
There you go.
He did take apart the other attorney at the divorce. So.
Oh, there you go. We got to have that in that case. But hey, Liam Greywolf, good to see you tonight. Good to see you. And you talked about your mascots, the Wolfie.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Buff State. When I go to the doctor, I make sure he's from Stony Brook.
There you go. Hey, can't be too careful, So you got the Wolfie. Did y'all have sports at the time when you were there?
Here's what happened. When I went to, this is why I went to the school. I wanted to go to one of the two universities, and I went to their open school day, and they're like, it was kind of like an SNL skit. They're like, look around, and they're like, lock the doors. They're like, all right, listen, nobody tell anybody. We're going Division I.
Oh boy.
Gas goes through the room, right? It'll happen after you graduate. But here's the thing. Right now is the least amount of money you're going to have to pay for what's going to be the only school in the state of New York with a prestigious football and baseball and basketball team. We promise you an NCAA championship in the next 20 years. And everyone stood up and started cheering. And then they were like, the Stony Brook Patriots will be the champions of the United States. And we were just like, wow. And they're like, your diploma will be worth more every year after you leave. And I was like, I can pay for this like and not quit. I can live on this campus and keep my job.
Yeah.
So it took me. I was able to pay for it myself. I didn't have to get any loans. It was affordable at the time, and I got a really good education.
Oh, cool. Because one thing that you told me a while back in the DMs and stuff, though, is y'all had a saying, not necessarily the best of the teams. But
Well, here's the thing,
what was
especially
it?
while I was there. Yeah, the teams were getting better as we were going there, right? But we weren't competitive. Now, Stony Brook, since has been to the baseball, the World Series of college baseball. That stadium was better than we thought it would be, or that program went ahead faster than we thought. But it kind of makes sense, right? The elite school, baseball is a pretty complicated sport, so maybe there's something to that. And the major leaguer from Stony Brook, I guess, is Joe Nathan. He bought the school a stadium. It's called Joe Nathan Stadium. So yeah, we're not the best team, but we are. There are 7 Nobel Prize winners. The 7th was just named on October 23rd. I forgot the name, but so it's a really good school, and our cheer is a little bit. Well, we're going to lose the game, so we have a few things to say, and we're kind of smart. So yeah, the cheer's a little mean.
Yeah.
You want to do
this? Yeah.
Yeah, basically, we turn around confrontationally to the other team's fans, which is what you do. And first, we scream a lot of profanity because it's still New York, even though it's like the hardest.
That's obligatory. You got to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then these people from I don't know, like Barry University, Florida. These people thought that we were going to kill them. We were like, we're the talented and gifted school. They're like, everyone here must have a knife. And so first we yell profanity at them and threaten them. And then we cheer, we don't care about wins and losses. One day soon we'll be your bosses. F you.
F you. All right, with the F you at in for good measure. I love that.
That's the Stony Brook cheer. You know what? That's what we do.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, hey, we're not going to win a lot of games, but we're going to hurt your feelings.
There you go. Well, hey,
you won't feel too good about that victory.
We'll give you the real New York treatment, right?
Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. Our team may never win the NCAA championship, but with an average starting salary of $120,000 a year for the engineering school, he's going to be all right.
Yes, he will be fine. Don't worry about Junior. He'll have a nice paycheck. And
let me tell you about when we lost to the national champions. That's the only thing you can say about it that's good. They get blown out by Duke in the first round every year when they go. Yeah,
exactly. So the honor to get crushed. Unless you're Virginia, when you're managing to lose to the 16th seed, we watched that game with my kids and I. That was hilarious. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I like Virginia because the Hokies is a good name. It's just a great name. And also because even though he wasn't the coolest guy, I have to have loyalty to the Jets quarterback, who was Michael Vick for a while, and he went there. So, okay. It's a good school.
Hey. All right. Well, listen, hey, we're half an hour in already, and we have not even really touched the football. So we found out a little bit about yourself. So in this part, we're going to take a look at what happened in the SEC this week. I'm going to talk about some things, see how this goes. Oh gosh, man, I might be on a rampage or two. You might have to calm me down a little bit with what happened this week. So, I'm
a Star Trek pundit, not an NCAA counselor, but okay.
Hey, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor. Oh, that's right. I'll get on it. But I love that from Beavis and Butthead. But listen, as I said earlier, we are not a gambling site. Do not trust us for gambling. This is all on you. We're just people having some fun talking about football, specifically college football as much as we can. But we don't points, all that stuff. It doesn't matter. It's like, you're responsible for your own self, not me. But we go for there. So when they're looking at the first week of games, one of the big games of the week was the battle for domination of the Western Division in the SEC. This game pulled out to where a lot of people thought that it would go. Is that Alabama is now emerged in top of the West and is, by the strength of the win at LSU at Alabama, Bama is now queued up for the game coming up against Ole Miss in a few weeks. Alabama was 42-28 over LSU. We see that both teams, it was an offensive explosion for both teams with this, about 1,000 yards total offense in this game. Let's see. My notes flipped on me, so sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. It was an insane game. There was a total of 70 points scored, if I'm not incorrect.
Yep,
right?
You're right.
42-28, Roll Tide. Now, you know what? Crimson Tide coach Gene Hackman and defensive coordinator Denzel Washington really weren't on the same page.
Dude, I tell you, I love the way you improvised on that one. That was really awesome. But see, what we got is Jalen Milroe was actually becoming a legitimate quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Coming into the season, he's one that I had questions about. Can he throw the football? He's gotten better, more accurate this season as the season's gone along. But also the play calling has helped with this team. Because as you see in this game, he was 15-23 for 219 yards through the air. He ran the ball 20 times for 155 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. Now, one of the things that happened, some of the Bama struggled on offense earlier this season. A lot of it was Tommy Rees, the old Notre Dame quarterback, is Alabama's offensive coordinator. And there were questions about whether he was calling the right offense, the combination of plays for Milroe, but looks like Alabama is now starting to click on all cylinders. Once again, a case of trying to put a team away, like they're gone. Their time has passed. Well, Alabama's coming back to show you why they're the Crimson Tide. So let me say a hello to Joseph Ben. Good to have you tonight, and I appreciate you being here. We don't talk about other channels and stuff, though, but thanks for coming in and being with us tonight. Daisy, yeah, Alabama and LSU have cute mascots. Yeah. But hey, LSU has the Tigers, so, there's a version of your kitty cats. So,
you know what? To be honest with you, I'd like to know how much of this 28 points was garbage time, right? For a while there, they probably were riding a 30-point lead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to look at that real quick.
I don't know what the maximum point differential was in this game, but I would imagine that if you're the coach of Alabama, you're looking to rest some of your starters.
They were it was actually a close game at halftime. This game was 21-21 at the half. And then then LSU took the lead starting the second half with a touchdown. Josh Williams 2-yard run goes up 28-21. Then Alabama scores 21 unanswered points to pull away to the final margin of 42-28. We see that Jaden Daniels, the LSU quarterback, was 15-24, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and threw a pick. He also ran the ball 11 times for 163 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Talk about offensive production. In this game, Malik Neighbors for LSU had 10 catches for 171 yards and a touchdown. And as I mentioned, Alabama outscores LSU 21-7 in the second half to pull away in this game. So it was one of those games that was close for a while, but then, close for a while. But then go ahead.
I'm sorry. Finished. Oh, I was going to say the tail of the tape here that I'm seeing. It looks like Coach Brian Kelly is still their coach.
LSU.
Failed, complete failure to adjust and can't live with prosperity. He's got his lead right after halftime, and then they don't score again. That's it.
Well, a lot of us down here are talking about how long Brian Kelly will last in LSU, because last year, it started off bumpy, had a good end of the season. They won the SEC West. They made the SEC championship game, got a good bowl game, but then, Louisiana is a very tough place to coach and to be, especially when you're from up north, when you're from Yankeeville, it's going to be hard in some of these southern markets to, if you're winning, they'll accept you, but if you don't, so it'll be interesting to see how LSU runs going forward, if they continue, at least he won the SEC West last year.
Outside major cities, the college football is much bigger than the NFL in the hearts of the average.
Oh yes. There are parts of down here that, even the Jaguars and Bucks and all are second fiddle to the college teams. So it just.
I lived 1 year in Florida, and the quarterback of Central Florida University, just like not even the most prominent school, He had like a weekly radio show where he had to sit there for an hour and like talk about the game, whether they were good or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In this game, this pretty well sets the West up between an Ole Miss Alabama matchup coming up. We will talk about that just coming up a little bit ahead of us. So, again, any other thoughts on this game? Did you get to see any of this game live?
I watched some of the highlights, and it just looked like, pretty much the score tells it all. Alabama,
All right.
even though the score is really huge, there is some time of possession that's a little closer. 5-minute difference in a game like this, especially if it was in the first half. We don't know. It seems to me like LSU just they failed to hold on to a lead that they had after the half. It's not late in the game; it's the start of the second half. But
give Alabama credit
average.
though. But give Alabama credit the fact that they've got their offense going again with 3 touchdown runs in the second half. This is an offense that had been stagnant a lot this season. When they played against South Florida, it was a slugfest that they barely scored. I don't even know if they scored 10 points, but what is problematic to Brian Kelly here with LSU is their defense. I mean, another game giving up 40-plus points. They've won a few games giving up a bunch of points, but it's not a traditional LSU tough defense. It's very weak. It gives up a lot of points, a lot of yardage from week to week. So, all right. We will move.
The weirdness of the time of possession. And, Jason Milroe, is it Milroe?
Milroe.
Jalen Milroe. Ranked 2 or 3 in most matrixes.
Yep.
As far as SEC quarterbacks.
Well, I'll tell you, he surprised me. That's one of the keys, and I said in my preseason, it depends on Alabama how he performs. If he played like he did last year in backup time, very weak throwing and everything, it was going to be a long year for Bama. And it was the first part of the season, but hey, they've gotten on track. Buddy Hepburn said the Tide Pods cleaned their D up, and that's true. Alabama's defense has gotten a lot better in recent weeks. But LSU continues to struggle on defense. All right, so we will move on to the next game, shall we? We will go. Oh God, not this damn thing!
Ooh, oh!
And this was an overtime game. Florida misses a field goal. The kicker was 11-12 the whole friggin' season and misses the field goal that could have won it at the end of regulation. I got people out there I'm debating. I think Florida needs to clean house, wreck the coach, fire him automatically. I'm tired of this guy. Because when you look at the University of Florida, this second year in this, and they look incompetent, they're getting get beat. There's no improvement on defense. The offense, this team, if you thought they got 36 points or 33 points, you'd think that they'd be almost undefeated. This defense is pathetic and ridiculous. The game day coaching, turnover, mistakes, penalties with this, and play calling, they have fallen. I've got a relative and friends that are like, "Oh, get by, give them time." I know. Look at the friggin' University of Georgia. Look at Kirby Smart. His second year, he was pushing Florida. He was not sitting there going to barely 500 and looking horrible like they did at Kentucky, where they looked like a kids team trying to tackle adults. This game, they couldn't stop a quarterback who had been bad all year. He was talented, couldn't stop him. It just, where do you go with this team? I mean, and I got a cousin, I don't want to wait 2 years. Tennessee, we'll talk about them later. Josh Heupel, legitimate coach. They have some issues this year, but you know what? They're not falling apart. They're getting better. You see progress in year 2. You don't see it in Gainesville. So this was a disaster of a game. I barely kept it. I kind of kept it on at times. Obviously, balanced time of possession. First downs were fairly even. Arkansas did get a lot more yardage, and I will tell you, they dominated that Florida defense, and you could tell with the balanced attack, passing and rushing. KJ Jefferson had probably his best game of the year, 20 of 31, throwing 255 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He had 17 carries and 92 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Sanders for Arkansas also ran the ball for 18 times, 103 yards. And Andrew Armstrong for Arkansas had 3 catches for 103 yards or 34.3 yards per catch. Just amazing output by Arkansas, one of the best performances of the year offensively. Not a lot to be said about defense. Graham Mertz for the Gators did complete 26 of 42 passes for 282 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, As a Gator fan, this sucked. You know, I'm tired of having to put up with this crap. You know. But then
Well,
again, you know
maybe it's
about
time to get
teams.
rid of. Is it Billy Napier? Correct.
Yeah, it's his second year. I was
Yeah.
ready to get rid of him last year.
Remember when
Because
his brother used to when his brother moved to Gotham and he vanished at the Ajax chemical factory? We never found out what happened to him. I don't know what drives Billy. It seems like he's just chasing ghosts here. At this game, to lose this game and the way
at home,
with those stats, yeah, it's not like some brilliant plan undid them. They weren't really ready for this, and the Razorbacks just they came to win. They were ready. This was their Super Bowl or whatever you want to call it.
It
They're
was.
like, we hate Florida. That was probably the first day of camp. We hate Florida. That was probably the
well. Guess what?
Words.
This is how damn bad it was. That Arkansas had not won a conference game all season. They had lost, I think, 6 games in a row, and they come into this game, and then Florida. Then they beat Florida for their first SEC win of the year.
Oh, Sam Pittman's like, I recruited you guys. You've known me since high school. I'm going to get fired. Please. I want the head of the coach of Florida. We can bring this guy down. It'll make me look good. Don't you hate the guys in Florida? We hate them, right? We really don't like that team.
Well,
and, they wanted
this is how bad Florida was. This is how bad Florida's luck. And I think a lot of it's bad luck too. But the kicker has had such an amazing year after he came off the bench because the original kicker just stunk. So they benched him. He misses a chip shot field goal that would have won the game. He had missed only one all year, and he misses it. And then of course you see what happens. Good job for Sam Pittman to save his job probably, but it's still they're 3-6, 1-5 overall in the league. At some point they're going to have to win. They're going to have to beat Alabama, Ole Miss, win some of the games against teams that they need to beat.
As a Jets fan, I feel your pain on this one. To lose it on a kick in overtime, that's like a kick right to the lower regions, man. Right there. Oh, man. And I've been through it, and I'm going to see it again on Sunday.
Well, I would consider wearing a bag to this one, okay, to answer your question.
It's
not because and see, the thing is, these are college kids. I would say this is college kids and stuff. And then my thing's not with college kids. My thing's with the adults, the coaches and stuff. Bad strategy, the bad clock management many, many times. There was another time where they're running out clock, and it's like, well, why don't you move so you can why settle for a field goal if you can get a touchdown? Because I tell you what, do you remember a game many years ago? It was the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I believe they were playing up there against the New York Jets. Maurice Jones-Drew was the running back, and he stopped and took a knee on the 1-yard line.
Ooh, I just not all the guys. That's I don't know. Crazy move. About 2 weeks ago in an NFL game, I saw a team kick on third down too. I mean,
well, see, I don't mind kicking on third down because if you have I don't mind kicking on third down at the end of a game or overtime for this reason. Because, if you have 3 things can go wrong on a place kick: bad snap, bad hold, bad kick. So on third down, if the ball is snapped bad, you can just down it and get another chance to kick it. I'm okay with that. But what he did was he took a knee at the 1-yard line, gave himself up, and then they ran 3 more plays to run the clock out to kick a field goal. I hate that. Get the touchdown, get the points, and then play defense. Because like I said, 3 things can go wrong on a kick: snap, hold, or kick.
Yeah. You know what? That is one thing I hate. Is like the arbitrary nature of the year to year. What causes a fumble this year, and what we're gonna do in overtime. I mean, usually what happens is a third. Like another wild card football team, football league like the XFL has to show up, and they'll immediately change a couple of things in the NFL. The last time there was a competitive another league, the contribution we have is that wired camera that rolls across the field.
It's actually
the overtime rules.
Albert and Alberta the Gator. Albert and Alberta the alligator. Okay, this game, let's go back in this game here. I jumped ahead. Florida, Arkansas go to overtime. Okay.
Right.
The NFL rules are still sudden death, except they got the stupid stuff about each team gets the ball unless a touchdown on the first drive. What they do is what they call here in college the Kansas tiebreaker, which is each team gets the ball at the 25-yard line and 4 plays, or you can get a first down. That's called the Kansas tiebreaker. that's what happened here.
XFL used something like that, if I remember correctly.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer the regular NFL overtime, or do you like this type of format of an overtime?
As presently constituted, I'm going to say I actually like the NFL where, even if you kick the field goal, the other team gets a chance to try to make a touchdown drive. That to me is a little more fair. It's weird that in our lifetimes, football has taken on aspects of baseball where suddenly now there's a little bit of fairness in overtime where football used to be, it's not about who's best, it's about who's best right now and who's more ruthless making the plays. Whereas baseball was more about fairness, now has a play-in game, which is completely arbitrary and like football. It's not about who has a better team. It's about who's better today, and it's for all the marbles, take them or leave them. So
yeah, I mean, this last World Series ended up with two teams that were like the lowest ranked seeds. I think they were the teams that you would not have thought would have made it. So
I canceled my Yankee app and subscription for the to watch the Yankees in the, I guess, middle of July. They were just terrible this year.
Yeah,
they were terrible. Right. And Aaron Judge was out for the whole season.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. We got some more games to hit. Missouri, 14th ranked, went on the road to Athens. The Georgia Bulldogs pull away in this game, beating Missouri 30-21. Both teams very similar stats, but Georgia had the ball for 9 more minutes, and the key to the game is 2 turnovers by Missouri. Carson Beck for Georgia was 21-32 for 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey for Georgia had 7 catches for 95 yards, while Brady Cook for Missouri was a subpar game. He's actually struggled the last few weeks, was 14-30 for 212 yards, a touchdown, but 2 picks. And Cody Schrader for Missouri ran 22 times for 112 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, so Carson Beck is considered tier 1 by most rating systems, and he probably could have put on more points in this game, but I'm going to say maybe Missouri, with that time of possession and things like that, possibly their defense did what they were doing, and maybe their offense had some long but fruitless drives.
Yeah, and the 2 turnovers will kill you, especially when you're on the road at the number 1 team in the nation. You can't. It was a close game at halftime. It was tied 10-10 at halftime, but then Georgia pulls away in the second half, outscoring Missouri 20-11 in the second half. So this was actually a game last year where Missouri was the closest team to beat Georgia in the regular season, where they in Columbia, where they held Georgia. They were actually up on Georgia by double digits with about 13 minutes left in the game, and then the Bulldogs came back to win the game. And really close game here. Speaking though, because Missouri had pulled it within 24-21 with 12 minutes left in the game, but then Georgia kicked 2 more field goals to put the game away, and the rest is history. Georgia's still undefeated, still number 1. Missouri falls with another loss, which for them, losing the game at home against LSU and a big scoring fest earlier this year comes back to haunt them for what had happened. Any other thoughts with this game before we move on?
No, nothing to say on this one.
Hey, and hi to Clay Thomason. I say hi, Clay Thomason.
Hello. Keep your eye on Carson Beck. What else is there to say? Let's see when he's drafted. He'll be a Jet.
Exactly. Well, he was a high recruit coming out of college. We were out of high school. We saw him being recruited and stuff. But hey, Clay Thomason, the Arkansas fan, right? I'll show it again for you.
Your backs came and they won.
Yeah. Oh my goodness!
They said they were going to win on the road, and they backed it up, baby.
They did. They win it. They didn't go away. They fought. You know what's so cool this year? This second season I've been doing this show. This year I've got more people. I've got Bama fans, Auburn fans, and we got an Arkansas fan. I got so many fans from so many different schools that's becoming part of this. And thank you for being here tonight, Clay Thomason. Appreciate it so much. Yep.
You know what the secret to my research has been? I thought we were going to predict next week's games, and I studied them.
Well, there we go. We're going to figure out how you did
welcome to playing catch-up with Admiral Teague. At least I'm pretty familiar with the teams at this point.
Hey, you're entertaining as hell, I will say. So, hey, that's cool.
Doing my best.
I'm laughing. I got a whole house full of Bulldogs fans now. They're my rival, and it's like because the oldest is going to Georgia, so hey. and she thinks the Bulldogs are cute. So yeah. Well, anyway, hey, well, let's kick the tires. We got 11 people still with us. Mm-hmm.
My favorite team name is South Carolina.
Oh yeah, well, we'll talk about that a lot. Yeah, I wonder why. But hey,
we'll get there.
We'll get there. But we got
there's plenty of analogies for the South Carolina team.
Well, I'm going to hold on what one of their mascots is called, so you're going to love that today.
I agree.
No, not quite. Even better than that. Even better than that. So, 11-ranked Ole Miss held off a challenge by Texas A&M. 38-35. Another great offensive game in the SEC. Both teams at near 500 yards. Texas A&M held the ball for for over 10 minutes longer than Ole Miss did. If you wanted offense, this was another good game to have. Jackson Dart for Ole Miss, 24-33, 387 yards, 2 touchdowns. Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss ran 23 times for 102 yards, 3 touchdowns, while Trey Harris caught 11 balls for 213 yards and a touchdown. In a losing effort, Max Johnson was 31-42 for 305 yards and a touchdown and a pick. I've noticed his brother plays a tight end for Texas A&M also, and Jade Walker had 8 catches for 100 yards. So,
if I was Jackson Dart, I would start to rein it in on the talent and try to do a little less well, or you will end up the number 1 pick and be a New York Jet. I mean, this was a good performance.
Yes, exactly. See,
518 passing. I'm sorry, 387 passing yards. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, Art Daisy loves the mascots, loves the animal mascots. So, hey. Exactly.
You know what? Google Stony Brook. Wolfie is a great animal mascot.
We'll have to do next time we talk mascots. I had to see if you're available or something, because we actually had a story which had the worst. There was like some French art thing out of a school in North Carolina. There's also the Fighting Okra and things, dude. There's some bad mascots out there. So, yeah.
The school that I went to, it's on the original site of Phase 2 of the Manhattan Project. It was done on Long Island, right? So we got to take that. Yeah. It's got a history. So before they were the Stony Brook Seawolves, they were the Stony Brook Patriots. And we had all like atomic bomb related chants and stuff, from what I understand. A little before my time.
Well, in this game, it was a close game throughout. Ole Miss held a 20-14 lead at a half, back and forth, and then Ole Miss had to take the lead again with 1:40 left in the game, because Texas A&M had rallied with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Then it comes down to a 3-point game, and then there was a blocked field goal. A&M had the field goal blocked when they tried to attempt to force overtime, which sealed the win.
That's for very Jet-like too.
Yep. So
I know that feeling.
So that's
sorry, Texas fans. That one had to be a real heartbreaker, guys.
Yeah,
it's bad enough.
I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for them, because in 2020, when everybody was supposed to have limited stadiums, they didn't. When the Gators went there,
are you saying they have a real good stadium?
I think that they like to bend the rules, so big time. So, but hey, it's a big slow story I had to tell you about later. But yeah, hey, Daisy did Google and said Wolfie is very cute.
Yeah,
exactly.
He really is. He's happy, fuzzy, radioactive sea wolf.
Well, we're not going to waste much time on this game unless we have some Kentucky fans here. This was another anemic game. Kentucky is very average itself. Only 13 first downs to 15 for Mississippi State, but a 24-3 win here. Just you can see balanced stat numbers, bad numbers. Time possession roughly even. Devin Leary for Kentucky was 13-22 for 156 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. Bray Davis for Kentucky had carried the ball 21 times for 80 yards. Mike Wright, the Vanderbilt transfer, was 11-21 for 78 yards. He got benched. He threw a pick, had 11 carries for 20 yards. And De'Aaron Jackson for Kentucky had 28-yard interception return for a touchdown. So, anyway. Oh yeah, sci-fi mommy. She comes out alerting. Damn it, Mizzou. Yes.
Yeah, you know what? To the Missouri State, I say this.
Mississippi State.
Also, Mississippi State. I say this to you. I can also get your team to score only 1 field goal and lose just as badly for about half what you're paying your current coach. Fire Zach Arnett.
Yeah. I agree. I'll do it for give me 250,000. Give me 500,000. I'll do it. Hey, I mean, the wife can go buy lots of good stuff off Amazon then. So really, guys, I mean, unless we have a Kentucky or Mississippi State fan, there was really not a lot in this game this week. God, we're almost at an hour already, Teague. And we haven't gotten to the part where we talk about football.
Well, what can we say? This game was something of a toilet bowl. Kentucky rose to the top while Mississippi sank to the bottom. I don't know. Hope floats.
There you
go. That's your takeaway.
Let's get to this game because everybody wants to know about this because E. Clay Thompson said South Carolina's Culture Casino's favorite team. Stay tuned, folks. Do not leave this show. Do not leave the show till we end, please. We got a big announcement coming up. But his Culture Casino's favorite team because of the mascot. Cocky! One of their mascots is Cocky, the South Carolina Gamecocks. You can say it, Tig. You can say it.
You know what? Let's go Cox. You know what? If they can get it up and bring it hard and leave it all on the field, maybe they can come to win. You know what I mean? And really just deliver. I'd like to see maybe some classic plays like the old belly dump, the pearl sweater, and other moves that we've seen on the football, never seen on the gridiron by other teams.
I know, but hey,
and
South Carolina
marching band played like 70s funky porno music when they came out, right?
Probably. Who knows? I'll tell you what, though. I will tell you what, though.
Favorite team too,
South Carolina is a wonderful state to visit, though, if you ever get a chance. Cheap gas and some nice areas in the state. But there was a slugfest.
As a New Yorker, South Carolina is a place I try. Usually that's where you go from like the north part of North Carolina and the southern border of South Carolina. It's like pee here and get through Georgia without getting arrested. That's like the New Yorker mantra going down that I-95.
Probably not a bad idea. Well, the Gamecocks.
That's much time I've ever spent in South Carolina.
I don't blame it. Well, I tell you, I enjoy it. There's some good places.
The highway, it's not nice.
We got a great place up there that has like supersized desserts. But that's a whole. I've had streams on that before. But the Gamecocks win this game. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm laughing about something.
It's a game of inches, and we're talking about the Cox. I mean, what's not to laugh about?
I know, right? It's being silly.
Matters.
Oh gosh! Well, I tell you, the size of this win was
something
10
about
points.
Cox rings in my mind.
I don't know, but they got nearly 500 yards of offense. So,
oh
my God,
they dominated.
Oh my God! Stop! No, stop. This is me hyperventilating real quick. Hold on a second.
Beamer had a real creamer at this game, man, when he saw how much yards his team was putting up.
Hold on a second. I got to do something real quick. Oh, hold on.
Oh, okay.
I got to do something.
Well, Dadman is doing something. I should let you know that 1 in every 4 Americans suffers from lack of regular sleep. Please check your circadian rhythm by buying a watch. And remember, do not bother with this time change anymore. Join me lobbying for One America time, where it would be the same time everywhere in America as it is in New York.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yes. All right. I got a problem. Actually, I got to shut something down because I was trying to do something, and I need to
reboot, my friend.
No, I don't have to. Just I got to show this because I can't just say it.
Oh, okay.
I just got to say this, folks. If it was not bad enough, not bad enough that we have the South Carolina Gamecocks, my friends.
I mean, the move, if your team is playing South Carolina.
Hold on, Teague. It's not bad enough that we only have cocky South Carolina Gamecocks and stuff. We have the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. We really had a true cockfight in this matchup.
Oh, God.
You got Jacksonville State Gamecocks that went to play the South Carolina Gamecocks. So, there you go.
I predict that the Cocks are going to pull this one out and win.
Yeah, one of them did.
Cocks are going to pull out a win. Yeah.
So, that's why I had to share that one. That's why I had to. That's why I had to share that, because it's like all of a sudden, was like, holy sudden crap. Yeah, it's the bird mascot game, Birdemic.
Right. It's like that. It's kind of like trying to review Ahsoka without being like, you have to understand how badly she's cut by this lightsaber to get how dumb this show is. Like, you had to see that one.
No,
Yeah.
dude, or the bad, like the guy, the super turbo guy that they developed ended up just dying quickly. So all this drama for the one metal guy, and it was like they just sliced him, and it's like what? So
yeah,
that was. But hey, let's not diatribe on that one. But hey, folks, no, this is we're talking football tonight. But hey, this thing here, guys, this was actually a good game. I was one that I thought could have been a possible upset, but the Gamecocks hold off the Gamecocks at home by 10. So with 5 minutes of possession, what killed Jacksonville State was the 4 turnovers in the end. We had Spencer Rattler, 27 of 38, 399 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He also had a touchdown rushing. Xavier Legette for South Carolina had 9 catches, 217 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Zion Webb, the Jacksonville State quarterback, was 12 of 23, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 16 rushes, 65 yards. Perry Carter for Jacksonville State had 5 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. So I don't know. I don't know if I could show what Mr. Thomas said. They both look a little flat in the end. So
we barely scratched the foreskin of this cock match.
Dude, I bet you never suspected you'd walk into this one. I know you were prepared and loaded for South Carolina. You did not know what you were going to get to with South Carolina.
Not with having studied next week's games instead of last week. So yeah, this is funny. You know what? We give you more cock here at the Dadman SEC radio show.
Yeah.
And what was this, an out of conference game? Because I don't.
It was an out of conference. Yep. It was one of those. Yeah.
Have we entered the time of neutral site games yet, or no? We haven't gotten
they actually happen throughout the year. Most of them are early in the year. The last one of the neutral site games traditionally is the Florida Georgia game, which was last week. So that's the end of October. So. That's about all we can say with this one. They've had their time. This game also we're not going to spend a time on because UConn just flopped. I
like Volunteers. So Tennessee.
59-3 at home. 650 yards total offense. Joe Milton the third was 11 of 14, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Jalen Wright had 8 carries for 113 yards. That's how bad the game was. The starting running backs were out of the game early. Tennessee's defense had 2 pick sixes in the third quarter. McCullough with a 30-yard return and Beasley a 39-yard return for touchdowns. Taquan Robertson for Connecticut was 24-40, 218 yards, and the 2 picks that were both returned for touchdowns. Yeah. You think they won? I can see Rocky Top
right now, right?
What's that?
So their quarterback Joe Milton III is God in Tennessee right now.
Not really, actually, believe it or not. He's actually struggled this year. Yeah, they've been one
this week. I think he's pretty well regarded.
The last few weeks it's been okay, but they've been on his case all year. A lot of the people want to go with the sophomore or the freshman to play because Joe Milton struggled in some games. They lost on the road at Florida, where a lot of Tennessee fans are kicking themselves that they lost to the Gators, which I could not blame them if they did. So we'll go ahead and move on. This is what I call a paycheck game, which is basically a team comes down just to get slaughtered.
But you get to say you played Tennessee.
Exactly. So the last game for last week, I think you're loaded for this good old Vanderbilt team, but Auburn goes on the road. My Auburn fans out there, hopefully you're there lurking. Auburn goes on the road, performs only 14 first downs. So that's not like 14 first downs it's just for 31 points, but Auburn wins 31-15. 400 yards of offense compared to Vanderbilt's roughly 260 yards. Peyton Thorne was 17-27 for Auburn, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Jarquez Hunter for Auburn ran the ball 19 times for 138 yards, almost 10 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Bryce Cowan for Vanderbilt had a 5-yard interception return for a touchdown. And Ken Seals, the Vanderbilt quarterback, was 16-29 for 160 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Not much more we can say about this game or there weren't to say it in this game. But any thoughts with this before we move into the next part of our show?
Not much to say on this one. Auburn manages a win. It's pretty. You can see it right there. Their total yards are almost double what we've got for Vanderbilt. But I would say the one team that I did think was great was Vanderbilt is called the Commodores. And of course, my
Yes.
avatar is usually the first avatar I use, and the brand on my channel is Commodore Decker. So I just want to say this was the marching band that I thought was really had the sharpest uniforms, and they just looked like they came to play. And
Hmm.
it's a real shame that they couldn't do better for such a great marching band with such a fantastic uniforms. Vanderbilt, marching band, you deserve better. I suppose one day they'll all be music teachers, but I guess you could share the way they look if you want, so we can see these great uniforms. They're not quite the Arizona Sun Devils, but you
Hmm.
would think that the marching Commodores here would have been worth winning for. I'm sorry, guys. It's not your fault.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
No, I
that's
got you. Yep. They're a school where they end up a home game is a road game. Everybody, it's like Georgia takes over the stadium. Tennessee fans, Gator fans. I mean, it's like a home game for the opponent. That's how there's a small private school in the conference.
Vanderbilt is kind of a well-regarded school, but I don't know if it's simply because they're really good at football. I'm not familiar with them academically. I was never going to go
Hmm.
there. It might be a good school, but yeah.
It
So
is. It is
Auburn
medical.
takes.
It is a
All right.
brainy school. It is a small private school. Lawyers, a lot of medical out of Vanderbilt. It's big for private medicine and stuff like that. But again, it's got a higher academic standards, smaller student base. They really can't compete. Some years they've had been able to compete. Usually when they've had a better defense. This team for a couple years has not had a good defense. This last year they had a decent offense, but like this year started, they lost to teams like UNLV and others that they should have beaten. If they wanted to make a bowl game, they should have. They should have done that. So
Yeah, it looks like Auburn had no problem just letting them like
yes,
hold the ball on either a lot of
yeah,
fruitless drives or one long one.
mm-hmm.
Here they are, the Commodores. What a
Yes.
fantastic marching band outfit! And then, of course, look at their fan. No, no, it's like he's at a Jets game.
Oh, I know. It was.
he's
It's
he's
cool.
ready. He's ready for that paper bag. This what can I tell you? Vanderbilt guys, you're
I
gonna be okay. You're gonna do well in the
Vanderbilt.
job market.
Yeah, they they're the school that typifies your Stony Brook saying, we'll be your bosses one day. So, but
So,
hey,
are they also a public school or is
no,
Vanderbilt
they're private.
private?
They're a private school. They're a private school. So
Stony
yeah, so they're stars. Yes, they're stars. All right. So with that, we're going to move into another part of the show. We're going to take a look at the standings as a result of last week's action in the SEC. We see Georgia on the verge of clinching the SEC East. Oops, there we go. There
I
we
got rid
go.
of that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks. I keep forgetting sometimes to move between screens,
Don't
but
worry. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Please hit the like and follow for our pal Dadman. I am a poor substitute for your usual host, but doing my best here. And here we are with the SEC conference standings. Woo! Yeah.
yes, and Georgia is about to win the East again to go to Atlanta for the championship game, the conference championship game. But they've got one more hurdle. They have Ole Miss that's visiting town this week. Uh, Something's going to give with this game. So basically, if they beat Ole Miss, they win the East. So the East is almost decided. Florida's fallen back of the pack, just above South Carolina, tied with Kentucky, who crushed them. Tennessee is up there with Missouri. Tennessee's a little bit disappointed for 2 games lost in the conference this year. Missouri has had a surprisingly good year for them. They're amazed, and they even played Georgia well on the road. Just could not beat the Dogs. So Georgia, look for them. I mean, the key. Well, we'll talk about it as we see the game coming up this week between Georgia and Ole Miss. Alabama is on the verge of clinching the West again, reasserting its dominance in the West after LSU won the West last year. In the West, we got the typical at the bottom, Mississippi State, Arkansas, which is huge disappointing for Mississippi State and Arkansas. Mississippi State, who lost their coach in December due to illness, and he passed away. The air raid
Wow.
offense is Mike Leach, the old Washington State coach, passed away. So now this year, a new coach comes in. He won a bowl game last year. They're making the head coach this year, and he tries to turn the team into a running team. And so they've never been able to find any mojo this year. Auburn has won 2 conference games this year, which is a big improvement for them. They're on the verge of maybe making a bowl game. While they're right on the butt of Texas A&M, could you imagine paying the money you paid good old Jimbo Fisher to end up middle of the pack after you paid off another coach millions of dollars to leave? So then they got Brian Kelly at 4-2. They're pretty much out of that. And then you got Alabama, Ole Miss. Ole Miss, if they, you got to win. You got to win. If you're Ole
With
Miss.
the Ole Miss George Gabe, my prediction, barn burner.
Well, hold on. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't. We'll talk about this in a minute. No, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. I'll show you in just a second. So there's where we
blew that.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, we improvise on
this is live, folks.
Yeah, we improvise on the road quite a lot. So the AP top 25. I like the AP and the coaches for reference. Georgia's still number 1 in the country. Alabama and Ole Miss are in the top 10. Tennessee, Missouri, LSU remain the remaining SEC teams. Same top 9 in the AP. Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, Texas. Basically, just no changes in here. Beavers! My Beavers, Oregon State, they're number 12 in the country. A shame that they lost 2 of the games the way they did. Otherwise, if they were undefeated, they'd be up there. But looking in at Kansas and Tulane, James Madison is moving up.
By the way,
what's that?
I had that. I had the Oregon State Beavers T-shirt for a while there, just for the sheer shock value of it.
Oh, I loved it. Well, see, let me finish this statement. Arizona, North Carolina, and Liberty enter the poll. Imagine James Madison and Liberty's 2 small schools that are in the top 25 now. Yeah, and the story we keep telling around here, we used to have, I would wear an Oregon State Beavers hat, and my wife would wear the Morehead State Eagles hat. So now we're on to the coaches poll. So, yeah, you heard it. So, again, 6 teams from the SEC in the top 25. Georgia, of course, number 1 in the nation. This had been closer at one point, but Georgia's exerted its control again. Alabama, Ole Miss, same relative positions. The Beavers are 13th with that. Same teams. Missouri's 15th, LSU's 19th. So you've got a lot of SEC representation in here. The polls are pretty much very similar, except you don't have Liberty over in this one. You'd still have Fresno State entered the poll along with Arizona. North Carolina moved up 2 spots. Notre Dame, after its loss last week, fell 10 spots. They actually had severe falls in both polls, which gets us to the poll that matters the most is this, the college football playoff rankings. Last week was the first college football playoff rankings. This is important because it takes the human polls, other computer results, and eventually there'll be a selection committee. And this is really seeding for the top 4 teams in the country. Currently, the top 4 go to what they call the college football playoff. Well, next year it's going to change to 12 teams, which will be a lot better for college football. Because what you see is you could have 4 teams like Washington, Oregon, Texas, and Alabama that would be left out of any playoff at this point. But now, currently, Ohio State's number 1, Georgia's number 2. Michigan and Florida State complete the top 4, followed by Washington, Oregon, Texas, and Alabama. This poll did not change from last week. The top 8 are still the top 8 for this college football playoff. So, and that is where we are sitting in the SEC and overall nationally. Teague, what do you think about college football again? I know you talked a little bit about it, but this is probably the biggest foray into college football you've had in a while, right?
It's the most time I've spent watching college football in quite some time. Since I was in college, I guess, and I would go to the Stony Brook games. But what can I tell you? It was pretty freewheeling. It was enjoyable for the most part. It was nice to see people out there who weren't playing for millions of dollars. I don't know why that felt better, but it simply did. I appreciated their efforts that much more. Yeah. And you just see the potential of the players, the camaraderie. when the team wins, the level of celebration, and it just kind of reminds you what it's like to be young. Because, of course, I was born in 1653.
Oh, there we go. Well, let me ask you a couple quick questions about one part I like with my guests is to talk about memories and things like that. And it does not have to be college necessarily. But what is the best game, or what's the best game you ever saw? In person, preferably college. But if it's an NFL game, that's fine. But what's you say the best game that you ever watched, and what made it so great?
I went up to West Point and saw an Army-Navy game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Everybody was pretty fired up. My father was in the Army, so go Army. It was a lot of fun on the roof of the chapel at West Point. It says "Beat Navy," facing up towards God and the football field. Yeah. And their stadium is now ironically called Shea Stadium. But that game was a long time ago, back around 1999. But wow, what a lot of fun. If you're ever up in Bear Mountain and you can go, be prepared to be searched. It's a military base, but an Army football game, good, affordable, fun day out with friends.
I normally don't like running offenses, but I would watch them. I would watch them on especially if it's a competitive matchup. So it's. But that's interesting. Did they march the Army guys? So did you actually saw the Army-Navy game up?
I saw the Army-Navy game, and
so like did they do the march in like they do in Philadelphia?
Tell me what they do in Philadelphia, and I'll tell you.
No. Well, I mean, I guess they have the thing where they march in, to the stadium.
I was tailgating and got there after the game started, but someone told me that they parachuted the game ball in.
Oh yeah, well that's cool.
Yeah, that part was cool. And I guess for NFL, I suppose like October 10th, 2001, I guess it was just about the first game after 9/11. Maybe it was September 30th, the first home game after 9/11. And it was just very emotional in the stadium. You could smell the fire from the attacks still burning. People were pretty emotional. And then probably in one of the most inspiring moments, the military flyover at night, something I'd never experienced before. I'd seen plenty of military flyovers as a Yankee fan, but the military flyover at night, I mean, the planes are gone, and then the sound just hits you. And then the second part of it was 4 Black Hawk helicopters coming up out of the 4 corners of the stadium, and then they like roped the game ball down, and it was and everyone just chanting USA, USA. And then of course the Jets got absolutely pulverized by the Eagles. But it was just that was but we lost, but that game meant a lot.
Yeah, that man, it's interesting. You keep coming back to like Army, Navy, or schools like that. I mean, the tradition in them, they're not known as the best talent. I mean, they're service academies. They're not going to have the big, the best athletes, the top of things. They're going to be what they are. And every once in a while, they have a good team that can compete on a larger level.
Bill Parcells was the Army coach, and so was Bobby Knight.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yep. That's at West Point at the same time. Could you imagine what that must have been like? And by extension, a couple of the people who were early off the Parcells coaching tree were also at West Point. I'm trying to remember who was the kooky guy who got the 2 Super Bowl wins for the Giants with Manning, with Eli.
Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, Tom Coughlin, I believe, also
former Jaguar coach. Yeah, Tom Coughlin.
Yeah,
y'all didn't like him up there.
We liked him, but as like a partial Irish American, we were like start or stop the drinking with Eli. Like he was like a different guy in each half. He would score for one half and then be terrible for the next, or be terrible in the first half and score like crazy in the second and be great. It was just unpredictable, and it was just like, why can't you get a consistent performance out of this man? And what is he doing before the game that makes him so wildly unpredictable? How come he? I don't know. I like him better now as a commentator. But yeah, Tom Coughlin, being a New York coach is a rough gig. And the state of New York football right now, if you like George R.R. Martin, don't expect that book anytime soon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right about that. The
It's nothing
biggest,
like watching your team getting tub thumped and they show him there with his little captain's hat cheering anyway. Like he's oblivious to football and whatever. He's oblivious to the needs
get
of his
back there and
fans.
write
Have an
that book.
AI finish the
Everybody's
book.
waiting on that book. I mean, it's so bad that they had to finish the series without him, you know?
I had ChatGPT write the final chapter of the story for me.
Oh.
I fed it several questions and I got a satisfactory. I liked what I got back.
Oh, there you go. All right. So yeah, Daisy said that finish the book, George. Exactly.
Yeah, oh my God. But it's 11 years. He's not, I mean, if he can pull off a masterstroke at the last book, he'll redeem himself and they'll be like, man was like Tolkien. He didn't care what his publishers thought. But at this point, Tolkien didn't put out like a placeholder bad ending for his series on TV and say, ooh, I'll fix that one later. And then just leave everyone waiting for 11 years. Like all we have right now is a really bad ending.
Yeah.
But I hear Cersei is in something new.
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
Hey, Gwendolyn Christie. She's like 8 feet tall. Captain Phantasmagoria or whatever her name was in Star Wars.
I don't know. I give up trying to think of anything that's mouse related.
Bad Star Wars, not true.
Exactly.
Star Wars.
I know.
Here we go.
We'll get started. Yeah, that's another stream. I'll have to come on your channel for that because I'll if you want to rampage, I'll rampage on Star Wars for you. But hey,
we got you and Roman of the Empire could come on and just have like a 12-step meeting with me. It's like, well, my franchise has been broken for a long time. It'd be like the psychiatry meeting from Austin Powers.
Well, see, I actually have a point to explore. Is that I didn't see a problem with what they were doing in Star Trek with JJ in that first movie, but then when he started coming to Star Wars, it's like, oh God. You know that phrase of like, they come for them and we don't do anything, and then they get you. It was kind of like that in real life, but with a stupid fictional franchise. It was, I was like, oh God, he's trying to destroy. And I'm not trying.
I call that series of movies Uhura and Her Weird Friends.
Yeah,
that was J.J. Abrams' approach. Like,
yeah. Well, he didn't help with Star Wars either. But wait, we'll get on that. I'd love to explore that with you, but that'd be another time and another 5 hours probably.
In the words of J.J. Abrams, a good story for another time.
Yes, I know. We got to finish our football this week. We're coming into the pick section. What we're going to talk a little bit is about the games coming up. We got Auburn at Arkansas. When Auburn is moving up the SEC West, Arkansas is moving down. But they come off the game, the win at Florida, with some first offensive output that's been productive in quite a while. Let's see. So both teams should be fairly healthy coming into this game. One of the big games of the week is 10th ranked Ole Miss is on the road at Georgia. Huge game for Ole Miss to keep up ground in the West with Alabama. Georgia can clinch the SEC East this week with a win at home, and possibly work a way to get back up to the number 1 seed in the overall college football playoff poll. So a lot on stake for this game. Number 8, Alabama goes on the road to the Bluegrass State up to Lexington, playing the Wildcats. Let's see. The Gators are at number 18, LSU. Coming off of 2 losses, lost to Georgia, and then this embarrassing huge loss at home to Arkansas, a team that was down and not doing a lot really in the conference, and had lost like 6 games in a row. But you got what you got. That's why you play it on the field. The big game up in Knoxville. I listened to Sports Animal out of Knoxville, and Tennessee is on the road at Missouri for basically the battle for second place in the SEC East is coming up with this game. This game, Tennessee at Missouri, they played 11 times so far ever since Missouri joined the SEC. It's almost split. Tennessee's won 6 games. Missouri's won 5 games. The current win streak is 4 games in a row by the Volunteers over the Tigers of Missouri. Also, looking back at the Georgia-Ole Miss series, Georgia's won 32 of 32, lost 12, and there's 1 tie. Anybody remember the days of ties? That was always a great thing, seeing ties. Now they're not there anymore. Let me see this Auburn, Arkansas. I'm going to look at
The Jets will manage a tie this season in NFL. Believe me, they'll
You
pull
think
that
so?
one off too. Oh,
You think so?
yeah, we'll have like a 30-point lead at the half, and
Yep.
then it will be a tie. I assure you.
Yep. Well, in a series that's not had that many matchups, Auburn is only 32 times. Auburn's beaten Arkansas 19 times. Arkansas's won 12 with one tie. And you know what I love sometimes is going back to the first matchup, because there's like win streaks in this one site, because like Auburn and Arkansas. Oh wow, 1984 is the first time they played, so it's not that old of a series.
It's not exactly a storied rivalry. My
No.
thought on this one is Arkansas seems to be in chaos, and they should have gotten rid of Coach Harsin last year. He looks like he's on his way out. He picks up that win against a prestige team, but having like a terrible year in Florida. But why keep this guy? This guy's a schlub. He's a loser.
Yeah. I actually surprised me with Sam Pittman. I thought Sam Pittman was going to be doing pretty good at Arkansas, but they can't keep losing. It's like you got to win some games. You got to beat Alabama and the others at some point. But like here, the Florida LSU series, they're tied at, look at this, 33 wins for Florida, 33 wins for LSU, 3 ties. The current win streak is LSU for 4 games in a row. What's that?
Yeah, I have LSU on this one only because they're home.
Okay, well, we'll go back to the match. We'll do the picks in just a moment. The first game in this series was 1937 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, when LSU won 19-0. So just some nice odd stats for some of these matchups that we've got here.
That's fairly storied.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really long time ago.
Exactly.
Years.
Exactly. Hey, wait. We're actually getting rated over on the Twitch side.
Hey, welcome everybody.
Hey,
like and follow in the Twitch appropriate manner for our good friend Dadman. He's amazing.
Yes, thank you. Oh shoot, I'm not even in my chat right there to say
hi to guests. I am Mr. Yes. I am Admiral Teague, one of your hosts.
Thank you for introducing yourself, Teague. Hey, thank you. Problem. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jess. Good to see you tonight with us. Oh man, we got 12 people watching over on the Twitch side. Holy hand grenades, Batman! Wow, that's a big night on the Twitch side. But good to have y'all with us.
Came here because they found out that Admiral Teague was picking winners and losers.
All right. Well, hey, stay with us. We're in the exciting part where I'm geeking out with the Winspedia and telling about the stats and the history. So we got 19 people with us now. I thought we were
supposed to weave the predictions in. I'm really sorry.
No, you're okay. I didn't tell you, but see, we haven't spoiled it either, because I know you're a great, talented guy. You can really reinforce it when you come back through. You're going to lay the hammer down. Huh?
Oh, well, yeah, I'll just overstate my points. So
there you go. That's great. But I felt as a host. But hey,
no, thank you. You've been very gracious to me, and thank you to everyone out there in the chat. Little bit of technical problems for Admiral Teague, or I'd be out there engaging with you more and saying hi. But I do greet all of you and thank you for coming.
Well, it's our Twitch side is jumping. Hey, you guys on the YouTube side, say hi too. So hey. And like Daisy said, for whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube, if you have any questions about football or any of these matchups, feel free to put them in the chat. Man, what a big night. We're 20 people watching us, Teague, on both on the Twitch and the YouTube side. Then we go to Vanderbilt.
I say, let me drop my link into the chat.
Yes, Mrs. If you can drop Mrs. or Stunning.
It's in there. Ladies and gentlemen, my channel on YouTube is in the chat. It is Saving Star Trek.
There you go. Okay. There it is. Mrs. If you can make it linkable, appreciate it. Or Jess. Jess is one of our other mods too. They'll get it.
Mrs. and Jess.
I can't do it. I can't do it without these guys, my mods and stuff. They do a lot for me. They look out for me and they put the links out there so much faster than I do. All right.
I'm considering going on solo tomorrow for my show.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well,
yeah, barebacking it, baby.
All right. Well, if you ever want company of something I can talk, depends if I can swing it. But hey, 2 more games that probably aren't going to amount to much in the conference. Vanderbilt is on the road at South Carolina. The Gamecocks. We don't have a duplicate Gamecocks this week, folks. So if you're coming in late, one of the games that last week was the Jacksonville State Gamecocks at the South Carolina Gamecocks. we had fun with it. So now and then we got Mississippi State. The Bulldogs visit the other dogs, Texas A&M. Aggies. What's up, Tig?
I was going to say, I forgot my Cox joke. You ready? The move here, and this doesn't work for either team because both teams are called the Cox, is if you're a fan of the visiting team going to see South Carolina, you dress up as Han Solo, and all through the game, you just keep yelling, "Don't get cocky."
There you go.
What can I say? That's the best I can come up with.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's
a good one. That's a good one.
TV.
That is a good one. PG-13. That is a good one, and that has some smarts to it. So.
You know what? You'll get on TV, especially if you have a tall friend in like a Chewie outfit that's like to the Gamecocks or like a giant gamecock. I don't know, with a Chewbacca bandolier. Disney will sue you, but you'll get on TV.
Yeah, there you go. That's what counts as getting on TV. All right, so now we will pick the games. All right, we will go through, pick the games, and don't stay around. Don't stay around, but stay around for my announcement at the end of the stream. Last week with AFK Bard, I was 7-1. AFK was 5-3. Overall, I'm 65-14, and the guests are 59-20. And you can see a recap of everybody that we've had on the season. And next week will be Whoopa Troopa, and then the week after Lorena Creole. So, but that's where we are for now, where we stand. This is not a gambling site. Remember, if we're just having some fun about football, these winners are by whatever means you want to. I try to pick who I think is going to win, and our guests are free to choose any method that they want. We had Ash Singh last year that used all combinations of dice rolling like 20 different times. We had Daisy Blossom who picked the cutest cats. We had Squeaka that picked by cheese. You know, Mrs. took bands and uniforms or something. And so it's like,
that's however what I'm going with.
Mrs. Well, I want you to explain that when we go to here. So here, week 11 picks. The first game of the day is Auburn at Arkansas, and you take the Auburn Tigers. Why?
Yes, I take Auburn. Well, for one thing, in Arkansas, there's a lot of negative press about the coach. They're talking about how people regret not getting rid of him last year. Perhaps it's something to do with his contract. Perhaps it's the wins and losses. I just know that there is some chaos there. The Backs did pick up that win against Florida, but like you said, Florida this year. So, I mean, this guy needs to finish the season strong. So I think Auburn's going to probably be able to do it despite what they say. So, yeah, Auburn.
Okay. And I'm going to take the Razorbacks. I'm taking the Pigs Suey at home. KJ Jefferson got healthy against that Gator defense. He should continue the trend against Auburn. So I see Arkansas probably in a decent, comfortable win, but you never know. If Auburn, the key with Auburn is the offense, generating offense. If the Peyton Thorne can move them and score some, they can stay in a game. But they're so anemic offensively that it's not likely. But anyway, all right. One of the game, this would be the game of the week. Although I think a lot of people would point at Tennessee, Missouri, but Ole Miss and Georgia, 10th ranked Rebels are in Athens against the Bulldogs, and you took the Georgia Bulldogs. Why's that?
I absolutely did. I think that this game is an unpredictable barn burner, and I went with the band uniform of Georgia. That was the only thing that put them ahead. And they're home.
They're good. That's the only thing they had. They are good-looking uniforms, though.
Both are 5 straight wins, so someone's streak is going to end this week. The coach could have. Here's the thing about this game. I believe it's played at 3.
Probably 3:30. This is probably the 3:30 CBS game.
So what's the first game of the day?
There could be several different games at 12 o'clock. Usually probably Auburn, Arkansas is probably at noon. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida LSU was a noon game or Vanderbilt, South Carolina.
You can throw all predictions out the window if you get wild results in the morning. If someone each of these teams may be better off having some kind of strategic loss or something insane with seeding, or have nothing to play for, or be absolutely broken by the results of a game earlier in the day. Several several assessments mentioned that the games earlier in the day might have a lot of effect on this. So they're going to be watching in the locker room, and there's going to be a lot of emotion for these athletes before the game. These are young college athletes, not pros. So this is where the coaches show that they're earning their salaries. They gotta keep these kids cool and professional, like NFL players. It's gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be the game I'm gonna watch.
No, it's My kid had actually tickets for it, but had to get rid of them because there was life gets in the way. So, but
Ugh, your
I know.
priorities are all wrong,
I
Dad
know. That's
man.
what I agree. I agree. But hey, you're in grad school or doctorate school, you put that first. But hey, I'm taking the dogs at home. I'll tell you because
Congratulations.
Ole Miss pisses me off. They're so unreliable. They did finally
I,
beat LSU at home, but they barely did it. They struggled to do it. I figured Ole Miss would beat Alabama. They didn't. So I don't believe that they'll beat Georgia, even though they have a much better offense statistically than Georgia. I just don't think that they will go into Athens and generate that kind of offense. They'll be limited to either passing or running. Probably more having to move the ball through the air with Georgia's defense, but still, I look at the dogs to win this game at home. So,
all right.
all
I
right,
love how our avatars are together there.
yeah, we
I
are.
was right
Well,
about what? I love hearing about how I was right.
I know. Well, hey,
Oh,
well
right
then,
about who's the prediction? Yes, I'm
yeah.
right.
Well, now you're taking
Yeah.
Kentucky at home, though. You're
Well,
taking
not only am I
Kentucky.
taking Kentucky at home, what I did was I cash advanced all the money I have for this game, and I bet it with the mob. So I think that I'm
No,
pretty sure that
gosh.
Kentucky is going to pull this one off.
Now,
Yeah, no,
folks,
don't do
let
what
me
I
hold on.
do, folks.
No, hold on, folks. To the benevolent galactic overlords that are watching and monitoring all things, that was completely hyperbole, and
Complete
he's kidding with
satire.
that. It's satire.
Absolute
Get a
satire.
humor.
Do
I do that all the
not
time on my
gamble.
show when I say crazy things because it's like, you never know what somebody will clip you out of context with there.
Guys, any one of these teams could beat the other one in some kind of fluke. Like we said, games earlier in the day. This is a wild week, and these are young people, so we don't know. Especially with that Old Miss Virginia Georgia game, I'm gonna be watching that one. Uh, I guess in the Kentucky game, my reasons
Mm-hmm.
for thinking Kentucky was they had a very favorable return report on injuries, and yeah, I mean they're only getting 110 rushing yards a game, but they're at home.
Yeah.
This is their season. This is their Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's why I think they're going to win.
it could be, and Alabama could struggle. Kentucky's got a decent defense. They didn't. They fell flat on the face when they went on the road to Georgia. But then again, this game is at home where they played historically better. They can grind out the running with Ray Davis. Alabama, like Buddy
I've
Hepburn
got
earlier
wilder
said,
picks
their
than this one.
defense. What's that?
I got wilder picks than this one. Don't worry, people.
I know. Paul, what, Buddy Hepburn? Paulie Walnut's handicapping and looks forward to handicapping yous. Oh gosh.
That's right. I hope he doesn't find me down by the river where I go paddle boating. Remember that? And the kayaking. Remember that episode?
Gosh.
Went after the guy just because his parents loved him. He's like, it makes me so angry.
That's too funny. You guys, y'all are something. Well, I'm going to go straight
They're
laced.
from New Jersey, Dad man. They're from New Jersey. That's why they weren't good at running their mob. Yeah, the New York mob wipes them out at the end of the show. Remember?
Oh, that's crazy. That is
They
crazy.
get filled,
No, I didn't know that.
Crew wins that war.
I didn't. Well, I'm going to take Alabama at home. I think this is pretty much. I think Kentucky does not have enough offense. I mean, of course, this could come down to turnovers, miscues early in the game. Alabama turned the ball over a few times. It could make it for a good game. But I still take the Crimson Tide on the road against Kentucky. All right. So now we got the Florida at LSU game. You're taking LSU at home. Why is that?
Florida's sucking wind. They're done. They're roadkill. They're finished. I don't think that they're quite as good as the numbers say they are. And I think that LSU, they're going to get dig down. And with Louisiana State University tradition, show that they can pull off a well-executed game plan. I think that they're going to be able to win.
Dude, I tell you what, you say you don't follow college. Dude, your insight on Florida right there was so spot on. You should get a damn network job instead of these jackasses that have their jobs, because instead of blowing smoke about be patient and this bullshit,
We established I did 6 hours of research.
You analyze that team. You analyze that team right on the head. A team that I've watched since last year. They are not that good. Their numbers are deceptive. They had some big numbers against Tennessee and some of the others. They struggled to beat like Charlotte and some other teams that they should have beaten by 30 or 40 points easily. The coaching is really inconsistent, because the coaching against Tennessee, instead of keeping the throttle in the second half against Tennessee, they were lucky Tennessee could not do anything because Tennessee put together the second half. Florida would have probably lost that game too. Florida's a team that only had winning 3 games this year. Now they're at 5, but guess what? They got this road game at LSU. They got Missouri at home. Then they got to go to the road to FSU, who's ranked 4th in the nation. So guess what? They may have won their last game this year. Goodbye, Billy Napier, but they're going to keep him because he won just enough to keep him around. Give me.
That was another thing everyone said. It was like kind of hoping he would lose in a way that was so commanding that we could get rid of Billy Napier.
Get rid of him. I mean,
LSU fans, Florida's hoping you blow them out. Everyone in Florida is rooting
it's not
for
going to
LSU.
happen.
They hate their coach.
But it won't. But see, there are a lot of people that like him. There are a lot of people that say buy the program in time. It's just I'm one of the disgruntled vocal ones that like I saw it last year. With the number of false starts and stuff, and they were not prepared for games. One game they come out, they win, and it looked so great. And then all of a sudden, next game they looked like they didn't even know how to play football. That's coaching.
I believe when I looked at them, they had a higher amount of penalties than other teams in the SEC, like in the top third of most penalized teams. I'm not sure on that.
No,
one,
they are. No, they are. They are.
Yeah,
that's coaching.
It's dumb
that
stuff.
Is coaching.
They also got too many. They had too many men a couple of times.
Damn it. Teague, I like having you on my show. I like having you on this damn show. You're a lot of fun with this football.
You know what? I thought I just pushed your buttons with that one. It's like too many men. The cardinal sin of football.
I love it. It's awesome. So great.
Get your unit off the field.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Buddy says the Gators don't eat the complimentary beignets before the game. So
cool. I'm trying to think.
It's like a pastry. It's like almost like a donut. It's a sugary type thing, puffy thing that's like French.
One put béarnaise on
No, beignet. No, it's like a donut type thing. No, beignet. It's called beignet.
Okay.
Beignet.
Admiral Teague will be eating a bagel while he's watching college football this weekend because I'm going to stay with it.
All right. Well, you know what? If you watch college football, if I do my show on Sunday, I'll have you come over and watch some football with me. We'll talk maybe or something. We'll see what happens. But then again, my Sunday shows kind of depend on what I feel like because I sometimes have to recover from too much streaming. Now Daisy's hungry.
I streamed a lot of liquor down my throat last night after I turned off my Twitter account. So I'm recovering from too much streaming too.
Well, let's hit these last 3 games. One of them is going to be actually of interest. So in this game, Tennessee at Missouri, you take the Tigers at home.
Too close to call because the spread is 1.5 points. No one knows what to do, what's going to happen on this game. Just stay away from this one. Stay away from this one if you're the kind of person who likes to recreationally do things like that. I don't advise you do it, and I especially don't advise you to do it on this particular game. This one could go either way. The only thing I had here was Missouri's home.
Yep. I agreed.
What time is this one? Could they also both be affected by later games?
This is probably
they don't setting games early.
Well, let me see 1 second.
Somebody could be completely eliminated by the time we get out in the field. A lot of
well, it doesn't matter if Ole Miss, if Georgia beats Ole Miss, they're both eliminated from the SEC East title. So but the loser will be eliminated from it. This game, Tennessee. Let's see. Oh God! They put Alabama, Kentucky at 8:00. That's noon. That's horrible. South Carolina and Vanderbilt are at noon.
What is up with these matchups?
The eighth ranked. It makes no sense to put the 8th ranked team at that time.
Your time. Think are you on Eastern as well?
Oh God, no! Tennessee, Missouri. Missouri is at 3:30. Oh dear God! What in heaven did they do?
What time is this game on in New York City? Where lots of people who
oh my God
end up.
No, this is stupid. You got Tennessee, Missouri, which is a good matchup at the 3:30 CBS game. You got 9th ranked Ole Miss at Georgia at 7:00 on ESPN. That makes no flipping sense.
Yeah, no. Wow. What are they trying to do? This is like what?
Florida's going to get routed because Florida's relegated to the SEC network at 7:30, which means the people in Louisiana are going to get nice and liquored up for their game. So
what's going on with some of these premium games that should be on later? It's like, nope, we got a monster truck rally coming in. We don't care. It's like, I don't understand.
8th ranked out. I tell you what, honestly, the Florida LSU game should be a noon kickoff, not Alabama, Kentucky. I mean, Florida is not counted. Florida is a boring team. Yeah. But
got 51% of the United
I've
States.
never taken a
lives in Eastern
detour
time
like
zone.
this, though, Teague. I never took a detour about game time. So, hey, folks,
Well,
make
the
sure
thing
you
is,
smash that like
this
button
week,
and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow us on the Twitch side. Go ahead, Teague. Sorry.
to the best of my knowledge, this week will have deep implications for what happens, and then we're going to have a lot of people crestfallen and affected, and that we really have to think about. The responsible thing to do is we have to remember some of these people may be emotionally crushed, so your favorite might be out of it.
Tennessee's won too because they thought that at one point I would have thought in the spring thought Tennessee would beat Georgia this year for the East, but no, I'm taking Missouri at home, which will put the Vols out of the misery. It's all meaningless because Georgia's winning at home earlier in the day anyway, but in this game, Joe Milton will melt down again on the road. Missouri is a tough place. Even Florida struggles there. It's it's a weird place to be. But it's a 3:30 game, which shocks the hell out of me. Why is Georgia Ole Miss not the 3:30 game? I just don't get
the SEC and the NCAA hate us, obviously.
Yep, obviously. So, all right. Yeah. Well, then we'll go with the next matchup is Vanderbilt at South Carolina. You take the Gamecocks. Do we need to say more?
You know what? What can I say? It's so weird. I'm on right before Culture Casino all the time. His shows are on like right after mine. We share some fans. It's super nice of my fans to shout me out to him when I say, tell him Admiral Teague sent you. And he's been nothing but a gentleman to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Culture Casino, you and I, let's hope that the Gamecocks got the Viagra out because Vanderbilt is bringing a powerful band with great uniforms. We've got the Commodores, one of the best names. And, with a Star Trek kind of name like Commodore, though, Commodores don't tend to do very well in Star Trek. And that was what made me sure that the Cocks were going to whip this one out and really just be it's a game of inches, people. They go big. Yeah.
Go big, go home. Hey, but hey, I'm going to take South Carolina at home also because Vanderbilt had their chances to win earlier this year and they didn't. There's just not much to say about this game. Spencer Rattler should destroy this Vanderbilt team. But, the thing that could happen is Vanderbilt does have a little bit of offense with Ken Seals, but Carolina's defense has been very bad this year. If Vanderbilt could get hot and score some points, it could be close, but I still think South Carolina's still
honestly, in my estimation, Vanderbilt looked like they had what it takes to play at least a disciplined enough game to be competitive in this. But you know what? You go to Vanderbilt, you can be kind of, look up to you can be kind of proud of this year's team. For a school that's that good academically, these guys are going to be like, they're carving their statues in the hallway already with this record.
Yep. All right, last game of the week, Mississippi State at Texas A&M. You take Texas A&M. All right, so any particular reason on this one?
By the way, the Vanderbilt South Carolina game, I referred to that one as a toilet bowl based on their records. But Mississippi versus Texas A&M. I'm taking Texas. Both quarterbacks questionable. Texas, they have to play for relevance. They got more on this. It doesn't matter. Their backup quarterback will get a better speech than what's worse, a wonky hurt starter or your backup who's might be ready to go. This is college. We just don't know. Some of these backups may be the answer. Zach Wilson even succeeded in college. Imagine that. So
go figure that.
Going with Texas.
Okay.
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
All right. Well, I will agree with you because Mississippi State has no offense. Will Rogers is still hurt, so without him, Mississippi State has no offense. Mike Wright is not a Division I quarterback, even though he left Vanderbilt. But hey, that's it. So basically, we disagree on two games.
Auburn can't see.
We disagree on only two games: Auburn, Arkansas, and Alabama, Kentucky game. We both took one road team this week. Otherwise, we stayed at the home teams. Go ahead.
Yeah, that means that there's only a possibility that someone will edge out the other. Well, not edge out, but someone will have only like 3 wins on the other. No one's going to end up looking that dumb this week. I feel pretty good that I lined up, that my picks and yours ended up lining up, except for
very close.
One wild one. So the Admiralty.
But see that Auburn one you picked is not a bad pick though. That could happen. The Kentucky one's probably or the Kentucky Alabama is probably the one that's kind of out there a little bit. But you know what? Hey,
that one's out there. But I'll take this is the Admiral Teague line here: Auburn, Kentucky, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Texas A&M, all winners. Arkansas, Old Miss, Alabama, Gators, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Mississippi, all losers. That's what Admiral Teague has to say.
Yep, I gotcha. All right, so folks, Mrs., if you go ahead and put Teague's link back in for me.
Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Thank you for being so accommodating and nice to be here. This was one of the nicest channel visits I ever had anywhere. Thank you.
Well, that's what we do here. We're among friends. We treat everybody special. You know, I mean, I got a few of my friends that didn't show up tonight. I'm gonna give them hell later about, hey, you're supposed to come listen to me talk football, regardless. I'm kidding with you, but
well, this is good until Saturday. I'm sure a lot of people will be listening tomorrow while they shop.
But in all seriousness, though, it's like our thing is like it's an extension of us, our family to people, treat them kind, treat them properly. What we'd said and we told you backstage was that we wanted, the missus has just started and her morning show's about positivity and getting off a good start. And we want it to be positive and stuff like here. Unless you're a Darth Maul fan, then I'm going to probably annoy the hell out of you. But
I it's the fact that he's even in those movies.
I just beyond that, but I don't want to ruin this stream. But
the Solo movie that is
that definitely. Hey, I ended up talking out loud. My kid started hitting me and saying, "Be quiet, Dad," because I was so loud when I saw that idiot in that movie.
The only thing I could say at the end of that was, well, they spent 3 years on resurrecting him, so maybe it's all right. And I just convinced myself it was acceptable.
It just was horrible. And Daisy has said, okay, so Mrs. put the links out there for us. Thank you on there.
Can I drop one more link too?
Which one? Put it in the
I will put it in the private chat, sure. This week's games are being played on 11/11.
Oh, look, I'm split on Darth Maul. Good one, buddy.
He was half the man he used to be going into
and Daisy said, great stream. Thanks to both of us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And JT Kirk, I hope you feel ably replaced.
Yeah, where's JT's
substituted for? No one can replace you. I can only substitute.
Yeah, there's one that JT. Well, we got a guy JT Kirk around here, one of my mods and stuff, and it's like, hey, where are y'all at tonight?
I thought he was the usual football.
Yeah,
guy.
he was a couple weeks, so maybe kids or something tonight. But hey, he's usually here. But hey.
Guys,
this is
this
link.
Kids or get married.
But this link is the disabledamericanveterans.org, right?
This has been vetted by multiple real veterans. I don't touch this money. It really is disabledamericanveterans.org. These games are being played on Veterans Day. My father was a veteran of the Vietnam War, not the most popular war, and he didn't get a whole lot of thanks. Fortunately, people these days are a lot nicer. Please remember when you celebrate things like your freedom of speech, like we are exercising to it as much as YouTube will let us hear. And, this organization helped my father as he suffered from the end stage cancer of Agent Orange, which, that's a combat wound. So, please give generously. Just to give you an idea, burn pit veterans now need help too. 50,000 Americans died in combat in Vietnam. 300,000 have died since from the effects of deadly Agent Orange. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Mother is a veteran of the Korean War. So,
God bless her.
Exactly. Well, hey, Teague, do you want to talk about your channel, though, a little bit before we go?
My name is Admiral Teague, and I am a crazy person who has a YouTube channel called Saving Star Trek. We do pop culture, we do sci-fi, we do Star Trek. We also do 12-step meetings for our friends from Star Wars who are just in the early stages. You guys have finally, I'm still waiting for the moment of clarity that lasts, because before every show, you guys always start swooning. And this time I was like, nope, not going to do Ahsoka.
Well, you need to have me on. You need to have me on sometime.
You're invited on Sunday if you want.
Well, it depends on what I got going on, but yeah, I mean, because I'll bust that method. Yeah, I'll bust that really quickly because I am so disillusioned.
You can just, you know what? When I have Star Wars people on my show, I just mute my mic, lean back, and just you put on my sunglasses and grab the Coca-Cola.
Sit back and relax.
I've wrecked everyone up with the question, and it hasn't been meant to wreck anyone up.
It's a self-help
session.
Tell me
what Star Wars is.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
the
a
first thing is
self-help session.
Tell me, what is Star Wars? And it's just no one's really been able to come to terms. Like, what is Star Wars now? That's what really people are like. It's like it's just because we don't know. Star
What?
Wars
Yeah.
used to be like a somewhat Arthurian tale about mentoring and ad hoc families, the value of
Well,
adoption,
yeah,
the pain of
it's about the
adoption.
Skywalker bloodline.
They
Not
could have
Ray and not all
had
these other people. It's a Skywalker bloodline. Anyway, I better
yeah,
stop
after trying
before
to
we
get
go.
away from it, they
Dude,
desperation ran
yeah,
back to it. Yeah, but sorry guys, we don't
I'll
this
leave
is
you
a Star
teased
Wars
with
home
that though.
stream.
You might
3
want
people
to.
tuned out as soon as we mentioned Disney. We get it.
Well, see, I don't. I tell you though. Here's my thing. I don't want to bash Disney. I don't want to dash. Wow, 15 people here. Hey, welcome, folks.
Well, you know what? 15 people. Let's keep bashing Disney for a minute. Dadman doesn't want to bash Disney, but Admiral Teague absolutely will. I've been watching stupid show Wokey. Ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen, put the kids in the other room for a minute. Listen to me. This show is bullshit. Off screen, a bunch of stuff happened between the end of last season and the beginning of this season. This season starts out for no reason to enable a sight gag. For the whole season long, we've been avoiding having any substance. There is no meat on the bone of the story. You can jump in episode 6 and enjoy it just as much as you watch the whole thing. It's an absolute garbage fire. I got 1,700 views for my very first Loki review, and we're struggling to break like the 200-300 mark now. But check out my Loki reviews on my channel.
Exactly.
I can't wait for it to be over.
There you go.
Wokey is a terrible show.
I gotcha. But hey, thanks for promoting, plugging that, because dude, it's like I gave it some chances, some of the new Star Wars, but I still at all roads lead to Jake Skywalker, and I'll just stop there. So,
let me ask you a question between you and me. Did you see Revenge of the Sith and Last Jedi in theaters? And which moment had a weirder audience reaction?
Definitely
in Revenge of the Sith, when he says, "You're the Sith Lord," I was surprised. This is what I lost a little bit of hope in humanity when Anakin says, "You're the Sith Lord," and ignites his lightsaber. Everyone in the theater was like, "Whoa, no way. Holy shit." People were absolutely gobsmacked. And I'm looking around and they're like, it was real. I'm like, wow, that's not a troll response. People didn't know.
Yeah.
How did they not know this?
So it's like, huh? Yeah.
The second most
the Last Jedi was just so bad that it was like a whole groaning episode.
When he threw the lightsaber, how did people act in the theater?
Stunned, shocked. I'm like, I really was what the WTF. It was like, what? And then
same thing.
I was like,
silence for like a whole
and I kept
minute.
hoping that they were going to redeem him and make him a star of the show. They didn't. They just they doubled down and made it worse. So.
And if you think, the more you think about it, the more problems you'll find. It's almost like a film class in how to not to make a movie. But when he threw that lightsaber over his shoulder after, I don't know, 30 to 50 seconds of a completely stunned silence, because it was the last thing we expected Luke to do. So that's, of course, the whole movie was built around one gag.
I was wanting to walk out at one point. I was wanting to walk out, but I'm like, I kept hoping that they would do something.
Quick story. I lived through the JJ Star Trek movies. They're horrible. And I hate Star Trek 09, and we'll talk about that sometime. But the bottom line is, after seeing what he did, especially in Into Darkness, one of the very worst movies ever made by anyone, anywhere, anytime, he has always established this thing where he blows apart the franchise, and right before it totally goes nuclear, he's out the door to a new one. So Lost, no real ending. Star Trek Into Darkness, there's no real movie there. Khan is replaced by the Winter Soldier. So going into both Star Wars movies, friends had taken me there because, get this, they said, "You're wrong to say the Star Wars movies look horrible, the trailers suck, and you think they'll be garbage. You're obviously suffering from depression. We're going to take you to the movie to prove to you that you're wrong."
They were the ones.
The Last Jedi.
And you're laughing your butt off when you left. Yeah, and
I was like, I wrote off Star Wars the minute I heard the name Jar Jar Abrams attached to it, man. I have been laughing at the fans ever since, because they were like, the response from the Star Wars community was, well, Star Wars is much easier to write for and it's always been better, so it'll be easy.
I will say that. We'll have to work me coming out on your show, because I do have a story about that. I do agree with that. But we'll have to
time Friday.
Well, I had to see. Well, we're doing Buck Rogers. Let me tease my stuff, and we'll go out so we can go ahead and close up the show.
No problem. I'm well pitched out.
I do want to finish up some stuff right here. So next Thursday, we got the great Whoopa Choopa went back with us, who's coming back after last year beating me, and he's going to look to come back and win again. We got him next Thursday at 8 p.m. YouTube and Twitch. You can see us overall. We're almost there. Whoopa is next week. And then on a special day, Lorena will be on Tuesday, the 21st, with us. So, hey, because that's Thanksgiving week, we speed it up a little bit. So, and of course, how do you not have the Queen of Florida on the Florida State game week? So she graciously did it for the second year in a row this year. So looking forward to having her with us. So, and the surprise Monday, November 20th, I will be having the Great Culture Casino on. We will be talking about the business of college sports, specifically the NIL, which is the name, image, likeness deals that college athletes are now allowed to sign with their schools, and discuss the effects of the massive movement of teams in the conference realignments, where you have teams on the West Coast now part of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Dogs and animals sticking together, cats and the Bill Murray line from Ghostbusters that applies to the world of college football.
Anarchy.
Yeah, mass hysteria. But hey, so join us. I'm really proud. We worked really hard to get this set up. That will be a Monday, the 20th, and that's going to be probably a very focused, serious show with that, because we got a lot of
my head here. I think that name, image, likeness thing will be good for college athletes, because there's a chance they'll make money after college.
It's good for the college athletes, but it's going to hurt some of the programs and recruiting and stuff like that. And if coaches don't use it,
because you get more money at Notre Dame for your likeness.
Yeah. And then if your coaches that won't do it, then you may lose out on your better athletes. But hey, we'll kick that around on the 20th of November. Join us for that. This Friday night, which is tomorrow night, we'll be looking at Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, episodes 1.3, 1.4, two-parter Planet of the Slave Girls. With me will be the beautiful, gracious, kind Daisy Blossom Flower Child, the comedic guy himself, Hungry Boy, and the Captain J.T. Kirk with us tomorrow night on that show. Then we will have next Wednesday, not on the final Wednesday of the month, but this next Wednesday, we're moving Aang to the end of the month, Daisy up to the middle of the month because of some conflicts. And we will be, because you voted for it, we will take the bathtub, the nuke the fridge episode, we're kind of calling this. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah, Daisy or Hungry said, somebody said nuke the fridge, and we're like, so Daisy and I just kept the term nuke the fridge. Join us for that wonderful,
whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
exactly.
He's now almost charming. At least Indiana Jones isn't a complete idiot in it. He's got some dignity. It's not the greatest movie, but boy,
and he ends up with Marion at the end. And he ends up with Marion.
This was at least. Last Crusade was the ending.
He's not Jake Skywalker. It's not like Jake Skywalker. God forbid if we destroyed Luke Skywalker, whatnot. Then we got to do it with Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones had a strong and older woman helping him out in this movie too, and she was an equal and a partner more than a boss. But she had spent another movie leveling up with him, so nobody was more qualified to hang out with kooky Indiana Jones. It's got its moments.
Yeah, I mean, Shia LaBeouf's but you know what? It's got some decent moments. So join us for that on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Then anytime I might go live with a chill chat or something, depending on my mood and how I feel. Also, Fortnite fun with me and friends, and sometimes it could be a late night where we take off all the filters. But hey, a lot of these are impromptu streams. So late night with Dadman and friends is something that's becoming pretty popular when we do it. It's really, really cool. It just going to work the next day is kind of interesting. But hey, a lot of them are impromptu streams that are here. And, but catch us all live streams and videos on YouTube and youtube.com and twitch.tv at Dadman Walking 55. That's where you'll find everything that I've got stored. Hit your notifications on Twitch. Hit your notifications, the bell on YouTube. Make sure you're still subscribed, because crazy stuff does happen and people get unsubscribed or they don't get notifications. But to get those notifications, follow me on Twitter, DadmanWalking55, DadmanWalking55. That is the right address. Do not follow any other DadmanWalking55 or variation of Dadman Walking. If it's not that email address, that's not that address with that avatar, that's not me. So watch your alphabets very close. There's some charlatans out there, but hey, follow us there, because you'll get the live notices when I go, because I tweet everything out.
No one's getting an Xbox. No one's getting an Xbox.
No, exactly. But Admiral Teague, thank you so much for being here with me. We made it 2 hours. You were great and a joy to have. And any final words?
Let's go Stony Brook Seawolves, right? That's the only team that matters. We don't care about wins or losses.
Yeah, because what?
one day soon we'll all be your bosses.
Good night, folks. Have a good one. Bye.